I see what I've done, which is to negotiate 3 farm bills and be someone that actually had major provisions put in those bills. So while you can dismiss committee hearings, I think this experience works. And I have not denigrated your experience as a local official. I have been one. I just think you should respect our experience when you look at how you evaluate someone who can get things done.
Thank you, Senator. Mr. Mayor, I'll give you a chance to respond.
You actually did denigrate my experience, Senator, and it was before the break, and I was going to let it go because we got bigger fish to fry here. But you implied
I don't
that
think we have bigger fish to fry than picking a president of the United States.
You're right. And before the break, you seemed to imply that our relationship to the First Amendment was a talking point, as if anyone up here has any more or less commitment to the Constitution than anybody else up here. Let me tell you about my relationship to the First Amendment. It is part of the Constitution that I raised my right hand and swore to defend with my life. That is my experience, and it may not be the same as yours, but it counts, Senator. It counts.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Senator Klobuchar, you have 45 seconds to respond.
I certainly respect your military experience. That's not what this is about. This is about choosing a president. And I know my view of this is I know you ran to be chair of the Democratic National Committee. That's not something that I wanted to do. I want to be president of the United States. And the point is, we should have someone heading up this ticket that has actually won and been able to show that they can gather the support that you talk about of moderate Republicans and independents, as well as a fired up Democratic base. And not just done it once, I have done it 3 times. I think winning matters. I think a track record of getting things done matters. And I also think showing our party that we can actually bring people with us, have a wider tent, have a bigger coalition, and yes, longer coattails, that matters.
Thank you, Senator.
I got to respond to that. Senator, I know that if you just go by vote totals, maybe what goes on in my city seems small to you. If you want to talk about the capacity to win, try putting together a coalition to bring you back to office with 80% of the vote as a gay dude in Mike Pence's Indiana.
Again, I would, Mayor, if you had won in Indiana, that would be one thing. You tried and you lost by 20 points.
You talk about.
What is up, guys? This is Mateo's 2020 Politics here, and today I'm going to be discussing that viral moment between Amy Klobuchar and Pete Buttigieg. And one thing I do notice about every single debate is that every time there's a debate, there's always that one moment that just is the highlight. It is memorable. For an example, in the first debate, we had Kamala Harris destroying Joe Biden on his, whole bus vote. The desegregation vote. The second debate, it was the Tulsi Gabbard exposes Kamala Harris's record. The third was Julian Castro attacks Joe Biden for contradicting himself on his plans for continuing universal health care. And then I forgot what was in the fourth. The fourth was just kind of a generic debate. And the fifth was the whole Cory Booker-Joe Biden moment on the issue of marijuana. And this was kind of the moment for the sixth debate, You could argue that it was the moment where Amy Klobuchar, wrecked Pete Buttigieg for holding a fundraiser in a wine cave, but I'm more interested in this moment. Now, let me just summarize what happened. So, Amy Klobuchar is basically saying, look, Pete Buttigieg, I don't mean to sound harsh on you, but you're the mayor of a small town. I am the senator of Minnesota. Now, it's a, purplish state, leans blue, but she's kind of exaggerating, because she's acting like, I got Republican votes, I got Democratic votes, I got independents, I got moderates. And she's trying to act like it's a, very much down the aisle state. It really isn't. Like, sure, it is purplish, but it's kind of solidly blue. Like, nobody could say, oh yeah, Minnesota's a red state. No, it's clearly blue, just a bit leaning towards the center. I mean, look, even Hillary Clinton won Minnesota in 2016. So, she wasn't too popular, so it just goes to show that it's kind of solidly blue, but just a bit more to the center. So, the whole argument of I get Republican votes, I get a moderate votes doesn't really work. But nevertheless, I do get our point of, look, I'm a senator of a whole state that's worth 10 delegates. You are the mayor of a small town nobody's ever heard of. South Bend? South Bend? What's South Bend? Who's South Bend? Is that a person? Is it a country, a state, a town, a city? What? I don't understand. So, that's probably what comes to people's minds when they first hear the name South Bend. And so, here's what I have to say. It doesn't matter how much experience you have. It matters what you've done with your experience. Because, she's always arguing, I've gotten stuff done. Okay, but what stuff have you gotten done? And she argues that Pete Buttigieg isn't qualified to become president because, he's got less experience than her. But, girl, he is polling above you. He's at like 8% and you're at like 3%. And she seems to kind of view herself a bit above him because she's trying to make the whole talking point of, you have less experience than me. Step aside, I'm walking through. When he has a higher chance of winning the nomination than her. He has like a 50% higher chance of winning the nomination. So, it just, obviously, if she's making an argument, it isn't working, so she should kind of stop with it. But also, it doesn't matter how much experience you have, because, look at people like Andrew Yang, or even Donald Trump. Let's use Donald Trump as an example. He doesn't have much experience, but that is an advantage to him. I kind of messed up with the stutter. That's an advantage to him, because people look at him and say, no experience, a businessman, outspoken, an outsider, I should support him. So it's, she doesn't seem to understand that the whole DC elitist insider thing has a bad rap. And if anything, Pete Buttigieg is more appealing because he doesn't have as much experience as her. But, Pete Buttigieg's response wasn't exactly the best either to her attack, because he said, everybody on this stage values the Constitution equally. So, and I served in the military. And then she replies to him, okay, I get you served in the military and you value the Constitution, but we're talking about experience here. Now, if I were Pete Buttigieg's advisor, I was a voice in his head, and I just told him right at that moment what to reply to her when she was blasting him about experience. I would have told him to say what I said before, that because he has less experience and he's just a mayor of a really tiny town, it actually serves as an advantage to him, because he's, seen as more of an outsider, and he couldn't possibly be an elitist, he couldn't possibly be a DC insider, he was just a small mayor of a small town. So, it could have worked to his advantage, but he just didn't have a great reply to it. One funny thing to point out in this exchange, and after I point this fun fact out, then I'm going to decide who won this exchange. So one funny little detail was, how Pete Buttigieg, whenever he gets criticized at a debate, he gets really serious, he's like this. He can't take criticism, he just can't. And at the end, she was like, you ran for, for the Indiana general election, I'm not sure if it was for the Senate or governor, and you lost by 25 points. And that was kind of a roast. Let's just, let's all admit that, for a sec we were all like, ooh, oh my gosh, she just got him. He lost by 25 points. Shocker. And the look in his face was like this. Go and rewind this video and you'll see that he just had that look that just showed like that you were hiding rage. You were like this. Now, actually, I forgot to speak about that whole talking point that she used of him losing the Indiana general election race by 25 points. And actually, that point is pretty defendable on Pete Buttigieg's side. He could have simply said, Indiana is a solidly red state. It's solid red. There's no Democrat that's ever going to win there anytime soon. The last time a Democrat won it was in 2008 with Barack Obama. And remember, that was 2008. It's just solid red. It's Mike Pence's state. So what do you expect? Expect me to narrowly lose it? Nevertheless win it? No, of course I'm going to get destroyed. So, now, who won this exchange? Nobody. It's a tie. Because on one hand, Amy Klobuchar was just wrong the whole time. She was just not making sense. She was seeming a bit out of touch, if anything. But on the other hand, Pete Buttigieg's defenses were kind of weak. They just didn't, they weren't perceived too well. And because of that, the viewers are probably going to see this exchange with the victor being Amy Klobuchar. They're going to see Amy Klobuchar being the winner of this exchange. That's the outcome, because he didn't have any good defenses. And to people who are apolitical and just view this debate for the first time, they haven't seen any other debates, they're going to say, oh yes, she does have more experience than him. And oh look, he doesn't have good, defenses. He got a bit wrecked. So, thank you for watching this video, guys. Overall summary of the video: Amy Klobuchar attacks Pete Buttigieg for his experience and losing the Indiana election for governor or senator, I don't know. And his defenses aren't too great, so neither one of them won. Because she was wrong, but he didn't exactly show that he was right. See you guys later, and bye. By the way, two quick reminders that don't have to do with this debate moment. So number one is that I understand on my last 2 or 3 videos, the comments have been disabled. And I'm not doing it myself, it's YouTube. And this was happening about a month ago, where videos' comments were just getting disabled, and I would try to enable them, but YouTube would just keep them disabled because I'm a minor. And they're having this weird crackdown, laws I just don't agree with. It's just unnecessary. Like, why do you need to disable our comments? That doesn't protect us. Like, how does disabling comments on my video protect me? I don't need protection. So, I'm just as frustrated as you are, because I always want to see your comments, but I can't if they keep getting disabled. What you could do is you could go to the discussion tab on my channel and just comment there and say, oh, on so-and-so video, here are my thoughts. So on the Amy Klobuchar versus Pete Buttigieg video, here's what I thought. Instead of commenting, in the individual video, because you can't. And then my second reminder is, sorry if I've not been uploading neatly, if I can say it that way, for the past week. It is winter vacation, and what I've been doing is I've been skipping 2 or 3 days, making one video, skipping 2 or 3 days, making another video. And I'm sorry, but that's just because of Christmas break. Don't think I'm losing interest in YouTube. I'm still as interested as I was a year ago. So yeah, guys. See you guys later, and bye.